Hey, what's up? I'm Raoul Kerr.
I am Jayant Bhadula,
And we are Bloodywood.
and you're watching Heavy Consequence.
Hey everyone, it's Spencer from Heavy Consequence, and I'm here with the guys from Bloodywood. And I heard you just played your first show in America, right here at Louder Than Life. And from what I'm hearing, you guys absolutely killed it. And what was that experience like, finally playing here?
I mean, we are first of all thankful for all these compliments that we're getting. Because I mean, we had like a clue, obviously, because we've been touring for some time now. But we weren't prepared for like people to just start chanting for the opening band for the Revolver stage. Like we were just standing on the side, and then there's like this huge amount of people that are just chanting Bloodywood, and we're like, oh, this is getting real really fast. And then immediately, like I think it took us like 5 minutes after that, Jose just stepped up, introduced us. We did our thing quickly, and then we started off. We had to justify that love.
It was a great debut because of that. You know, it's like Jayant said, when we were checking, you know, a lot of the familiar faces from our support base in the US, we saw them, like, you know, we only know them online, and we got to see them on stage and waving at them. And we see, like, you know, like a few more people show up. But right before the show kicked off, like Jayant said, we suddenly heard this like roar and this chant start, and we're like, holy shit. You know, like we've been off stage for a month. We were touring Europe and Japan before this. And so we had like a week of practice, and now we're coming back, and like, you know, our first ever show is at a festival at Louder Than Life on the Revolver stage. And when you see support like that, you know, we have no choice but to go from 0 to 100 very quickly, you know, so that's
like
exactly
we're
what
talking like we'll pace ourselves, you know, don't just put all the energy straight off the bat. Goes out of your head. Immediately, as soon as you step there and like you see people, it's like out. Now it's all 100 throughout.
Well, you're gonna play your first show, you might as well go big, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We
We
shook
tried
off the
that.
cobwebs like real quick, thanks to those people, man.
Yeah. And you know, from how I understand that the act started out doing cover songs, even some parody metal, but then you evolved into a legit metal band with your own music. Can you talk about the evolution of the band, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I mean, parodies and all, they were a part of like the strategy we had. So we did want to make like original music throughout, but the problem was, I mean, we can just make original music, put it on the internet, and who's gonna go out and be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna listen to a band from India.
Yeah.
The odds of that happening are very tiny. So we were like, you know, we need a proper, how do I say it, like a support base. We need that set of eyeballs that's gonna look at us and be like, oh, this is nice, or this is shit, like it's all on them. So once we had that, and this really beautiful thing happened while this was going on, that we started also developing this own sound of ours, where we had Indian instruments blending in with metal. And by the time, we got Raoul on board after a couple of little Punjabi metal covers that we did. And then from there, we just straight up, we were like right now is the right time. Because we've got a sound in our hands, which is literally the result of experimenting throughout. So now we have something of our own, and original music is there, obviously. So that's literally how it happened.
Cool.
Like the whole process.
And you put out the album Rakshak earlier this year. For music fans who are not familiar with you yet, how would you describe it musically to someone who's unfamiliar with Bloodywood?
We have so many ways of like.
I'll summarize it. It's metal tikka masala.
We love simplifying it like that. Because like the sound also, I mean, I'd say it's more about the feeling with which it was made. You know, like we tried to build on whatever we've done so far and experiment and move out in all these different directions, take a few risks. And like the feeling with which the album was made, like Rakshak in Hindi means protector or guardian, you know? So it was like one of the things that inspires our music is the belief that music can be the difference maker in the world. There's so many powers that are trying to like, you know, alter the world, change the world, make it the way it is. But for us, music can be the outlier, because through our songs we're saying shit which people already know. We're not saying anything new, but we're doing it with the belief that music can convey emotion and make people feel something, feel enough to do something about it, you know?
And I mean, that chant justifies that as well. I mean, people were there, they were like, again, like we say, they do not know our language properly. Maybe some might, but not all of them, but they're singing along. Like, at the last song, I did not sing the chorus, because I really wanted to see what's happening, because I could see people like moving them out, and then I heard this like wave of the chorus, and I was like, they're singing, like, they don't know the words properly. Maybe they do at this point, but they were singing along, and that's the best feeling ever.
Yeah,
especially when, like Raoul explained, like, they do not know the language, but they're connecting with the emotion, and that's the most important part. As long as they're connecting with the emotion, enjoying it, we're there.
Yeah, it's an album about bringing people together, man.
Yeah.
Creating a base of like-minded people who, like, together can make a push to change the world. Like, that's the plan. So I'm sorry if we couldn't do justice to giving you a musical description,
No,
but
but-
I think
Yeah.
the feeling will tell you more about it. When you listen to the song, like, the best way to describe it is the feeling and the intention with which the album was made.
That's very cool. And tell me about the metal scene in India. Like, how are you guys as young boys or men growing up? What exposed you to the music? Did you have to reach to American bands? Did you have to reach to European bands? Or how did you get into the scene to begin with?
So I was listening to metal from a young age, so I just wanted to do it. But the metal scene in India in general, it's small, close-knit. We've said this again a lot of times. There might not be a lot of metalheads in India, but it's a tight-knit community. So everyone knows everyone. And there's a lot of talented bands out there in India, all of them grinding every day. And now the shows they've started happening again. The thing is, Bollywood is way bigger in India than anything else. So if you want to play metal, you really have to work really hard to convince all these venues to give you the place for 8 hours or whatever. But bands are doing that, and especially this indie, the new wave of indie music. That's even people are embracing that. That's helping a lot for all of these bands to come out and play again, and shows are happening again. We're playing 2-3 festivals in India now. Once we go back from here, so all of that's coming back. One of the oldest Indian festivals is actually coming back.
Oh, wow.
They stopped in 2012, and now they're coming back right now. Independence Rock.
It was a big moment for heavy music in India. It was all these like OGs as well as the young blood, everyone coming out, and they've just made their comeback. So I mean, we're really excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. And one more for you. You guys support a lot of charity causes, a lot of social causes. Can you talk about some of those causes and why it means a lot for you to put your support behind them?
I'd say we'd start with the first ever one, because that really blew our minds and inspired us to a whole new level. It was actually our first original. Like Jayant said, we went from covers to making our original music once we had the platform, and it was our first original, and we made it with the intention of helping people, giving them a pickup, giving them a boost. It was a song about fighting depression. But the kind of response we got was that this song was the difference for me between life and death. And we're people heard that song, they're writing to us, telling us these, amazingly heartfelt and descriptive stories about moments where they're planning to end their lives, and have come across the song, and it's been what changed their mind about
There's
it.
actually one specific message I'm sorry
Yeah,
to cut
go
you off,
ahead,
which
yeah.
is there's this American, I think a Marine, he was
Yeah.
a veteran, and he lost his leg in Afghanistan somewhere. I'm missing the country, but he was like, yo, this song gives me that energy to just get up every morning. And one more where she's like, I literally had a gun to my head. And I mean, they're super heavy when you read it, but you feel it okay, finally, they're receiving the message, and that literally was the difference for us. And like you said, charity.
Yeah.
I'll elaborate on that one.
Yeah. So about that was that, just the feeling that we went out there trying to give someone like a little boost, but to hear that it could be the decision between life or death blew our minds. It inspired us, because like I said, we try to use music to make a difference, but if it can be make such a big difference in someone's lives, there's no limit to what you can do with music. And the plan was to use our production budget, which was very minimal at the time. We just did
Less
whatever
than
we could.
$1,000.
Yeah, it was
$1,000.
less than 1,000, and we used it. We partnered with this company or this NGO called Hope Network, this organization, and it offered free online sessions for anyone who felt like they were in trouble. And this is when the amazing thing came in, which is that we had 60 counseling sessions. That's all we could afford, and we put it in. And we found out that people were using it. It was a combination of the song itself and the counseling sessions. But that's when something awesome happened, which is that people who benefited from the counseling sessions put their own money into it and kept it rolling. So,
and not even just that. I mean, there were a few people who were like, hey, I wanna donate $500 to you guys. We're like, do not donate it to us. Donate it to the organization itself. And this code, Bloodywood, that we asked them to use, it went on for quite a few months. It kept happening. It was a snowball effect where people were just paying, and everyone was getting the benefit. It was an anonymous counseling session. Do it via text, on a phone call over the internet or whatnot. And it really helped a lot of people, and that's where we realized that it's way bigger than what we intended it to be.
Yeah, and that also exposed us to the idea that partnering with organizations who are more capable in the field in terms of creating a real world impact. Like we can obviously elicit a feeling, right? But these people are on the ground making the difference.
Yeah.
And if we can partner with them and get something going, get enough people together, we can make a difference. So that's been our plan going forwards. It's like, it's not maybe every time we put out a song, but whenever the opportunity presents itself in a substantial and meaningful way, we're definitely going to take it. You know, we're going to make it happen.